Kaya kung medyo sumobra yung aking enthusiasm para ngayong gabi, pasensyahan niyo na kasi excited ako sa season na ito. So when I was invited, I said yes. You know, and I really just want to share my own enthusiasm about the Advent season and what it is for me. No, but sige, let's just go through what I prepared. Walang question dito, no? Lahat tayo excited. Kailan kayo nagsimulang mag-countdown to Christmas? 100 days? January 2 pa lang yata, nag-countdown na kayo eh. So we like our Christmas, no? And when the Burr months start, ayan, makikita mo, nagbabago na itsura ng mall. Di ba? So lahat tayo excited, no? Shopping, no? All the things that we associate and the world associates with Christmas, no? Sale, no? Pre-Christmas sale, yung mga ganun. But, well, the church reminds us, di pa, no? It's not yet Christmas. No? It's not yet Christmas. Galit si Father, no? Hindi pa Pasko. Sa chaplaincy nga namin, nag-decorate na kami, pero sa loob pala ng kumbento, hindi pa sa chapel, no? Excited din kami. Pero hindi pa tayo Pasko, no? Sabi din ni sister, yan yung mga nightmares natin ng mga mother, di ba? May ruler. So, Advent comes first before Christmas. And we need to wait. Di ba? Parang we hear that. No? But, of course, do we still know how to wait? No? Sino dito yung mga naiinis pag mabagal ang internet? Oh, tiyan mo? Ang bagal naman ng internet. Ang bagal mag-refresh ng news feed sa Facebook. No? O traffic, o kung ano-ano pa. No? Do we still know how to wait? And yet we're told to wait. No, Advent is about waiting. Yung mga ganun, di ba? We hear that year in and year out. Do we still know how to wait? No? And what's the need for waiting? No? What's so important about waiting? At the same time, for us, especially this year, we cannot avoid including in whatever reflection we have for the season, the things that have happened to our country and our countrymen and women, no? Sila, what can they wait for, no? What is there for them to wait for, no? This is only one of the many pictures I'm sure you've seen and videos you've seen about the devastation, no? That is still, no? A lot of it is still very uh, they've not it yet, no? How to clear the damage, no? There's still missing persons. Kanina lang may pumunta dun sa chaplaincy, no? Na kasi ni-refer yun sa amin na, Father, kausapin niyo naman ito siya kasi hanggang ngayon yung parents niya hindi pa nakikita, no? Ah, may isang doktor, sabi, Father, kausapin mo naman yung family ko kasi 5 or 6 yata sa kanila namatay. They were all together in that hotel, no? So, yun, parang so much suffering. These past months have been particularly difficult, no, for our people. Hindi lang yung bagyo, yung lindol, yung gulo sa Zamboanga, no? We've been battered, beaten by nature's and human beings, no, relentless fury. Sobra-sobra. Parang sabi si Bishop Sok yata yung parang nagsabi minsan, tama na po, hindi na namin kaya. No? It is particularly difficult. No? We have lost so much, we have suffered so much. So as we enter into this season, anong kinalaman nitong mga bagay-bagay na ito? No? And how are we going to integrate all of that and prepare for this season? No? Pwede tayong bumirit na lang parang si ate, no? Para hindi na natin maisip yung mga problema natin, no? No? Pero dahil seryoso tayo sa ating pananampalataya, kailangan nating pagnilayan. What is the invitation given to us this Advent season? Ano bang hinihintay natin? If we're supposed to wait, what is it? No? So mga kapatid, I propose that as we enter into this season, we will look at the season as a season to recover. No? A season to recover. If we rush and shortcut to Christmas, there's a lot that we will miss out on. We will miss out on a profoundly beautiful experience of our faith, which is this season. No? Sa totoo lang, kailan ba magsisimula liturgically ang Christmas season? Alam nyo? Kailan? December? Ha? Kailan? December 5? Christmas season na? 25. Pero dito sa Pilipinas, medyo na-advance kasi pag simbang gabi, nakaputi na yung pare, parang considered ano na yun, advance. Pero technically, it's the 25th. That's when formally, the season of Christmas begins. All the rest, from this Sunday, it's all Advent. No? So, dapat hindi natin yun i-shortcut. We'll miss out on something profoundly beautiful. And aspects of our faith in this season is something that we need to recover, this sense of Advent. For us also to recover from all the things that we've experienced. Okay? So it's a season to recover. We will recover the meaning of Advent. But it's also in recovering it that we will also go through our own recovery, our own healing. No? So just quickly, no? Anong gusto kong parang how are we going to unfold this? Just going through first the premise of Advent. No? Premise. Ano bang konteksto bakit may Advent? The purpose of Advent. No? The promise of Advent, and finally the practice of Advent. No? So the premise. Ano bang premise? Bakit? Ano bang what are the context surrounding this entering into Advent? Well, I will use here a lot of the prophecies of Isaiah. During this season, puro Isaiah. Marami tayong maririnig kay Prophet Isaiah. He is the Advent prophet. No? And in this season, no, para kumbaga hindi lang liturgically but even in terms of the weather, di ba? Lumalalim ang gabi. Parang 6:30 na, no, dilim pa, no? Tapos mga alas 5 kanina, nung parang nagulat ako, ang dilim na. No, it's really the time of the year. Advent comes the time of the year when the night is longer than the day. At least for most of the world. No? The night is longer than the day. May ibig sabihin yun, di ba? Because in the ancient culture, so even in other cultures, so darkness and cold usually mean danger. It's threat. No? Malamig, madilim. And so that is the weather surrounding this season. And we read a lot about the prophecies of Isaiah. No? At ano ba yung konteksto ni Isaiah? Exile. No? The people were not in their homeland. They were in a foreign land. Alienation. Uncertainty. No? Ano bang mangyayari sa atin? Makakauwi ba tayo? No? Is there a future waiting for us? So all of those uncertainties. There's a barren desert that lay between the Israelites who were exiled in Babylon and their home. No? Parang this whole wasteland, barrenness, no? Desert. So parang alayo-layo sa kanila. Okay? And sa totoo lang, even the first Christmas itself was a time of great peril. 'Di ba? The people were under Roman Empire. 'Di ba? Kaya nga sila napupunta dun sa Bethlehem to census. It was a form of control of a foreign power. And of course, yung si Herod was after 'Di ba? The baby that was to be born. It was a time of great peril. No? Pero syempre ngayon, pag nakakita ka ng Belen, di ba, parang, oy, ang cute. Very so nice and cozy and warm and fuzzy, di ba? Kung ano-anong mga versions na ngayon of Belen, na parang it warms, but it was not warm and fuzzy and it was dangerous. No? Kaya kung titingnan mo yung lahat ng yon, no? The time of the year, the prophecies of Isaiah, even the experiences of Mary and Joseph and the baby Jesus, it's right that we enter into the season of Advent bringing with us all of these questions and uncertainties. 'Di ba? Taon-taon na lang merong malaking calamity right before Christmas. I remember a time we were in Bicol because it was Riming and Milenio, I think, at that time. And we were in Bicol up to the eve of Christmas, no? Kasi nagre-relief doon at saka nag kami doon, no? Nagtumutulong sa mga survivors. Pasko, 'di ba? Undoy happened a few months before, but Sendong happened simbang gabi, no? So always, and then people say, naku, matutuloy ba ang Pasko? Ano pang saysay ng Pasko? Well, talagang we need this season. All the more that we will enter into this season. No? Because that's really the premise of Advent. No? The premise of Advent is one of desperate longing. Longing. No? Meron kang hinahangad. Meron kang hinahanap. Again, from the prophet. Yes, Lord, walking in the way of your laws, we wait for you. Your name and renown are the desire of our hearts. My soul yearns for you in the night. My spirit, in the morning, my spirit longs for you. No? So, desperate longing. No? And from the psalm, I thirst for you. My whole being longs for you in a dry and parched land where there is no water. Okay? So, the premise of Advent is really desperate longing. No? So, just to parang punctuate our reflection with these questions, siguro maybe the season you can ask yourself, what are you desperately longing for? Do you long for something? Or are you so afraid to long for something because ayoko kasi madi-disappoint lang ako? Then you will not be able to fully enter into the season. Get in touch with what is it that you are desperately longing for? Ano bang hinahanap mo? No? Kawawa ka kung that faculty, that capacity to long, to desire is no longer with you or you refuse to exercise it. Kawawa ka. Your life is half-lived. No? But what is it that you long for? Get in touch with it. Not just you, but we as a people, as a country. What are we longing for? Our world. What are people longing for? No? And thirdly, do you desperately long for God? No? How desperately do you long for God? Is it something that you feel when you wake up in the morning? No? Long I long for you, O Lord. Or not. No? Sometimes I wake up, I just ano bang unang gagawin ko ngayon? Ito, yes, no? Parang to-do list. I desperately long to finish my list of things to do, no? So, the premise of Advent, get in touch with desperate longing. The purpose of Advent. What is the purpose of Advent? Well, we read from Isaiah. Again, one of the resounding prophecies of Isaiah is this. Comfort my people, the Lord said. Comfort them. Speak tenderly to Jerusalem. He was telling the prophet, comfort them. No? Tell them, announce to them that it's the time of hard labor is over. No? So the purpose of Advent is really to revive hope that is flagging, na humihina, na namamatay, na napanghihinaan na ng loob ang mga tao. Darating pa ba ang aming pinakahihintay? No? The Lord says, comfort them, remind them. No? Hope. The need for hope is most often experienced, precisely during the time when it's difficult, no? When it seems like there is no hope, when everything looks dark and grim, no? It's usually when suffering strikes and life is hard, and that is all around us. Tama? It's all around us. We cannot pretend that it's not. We experience it and feel it whenever life breaks down. No? The need for hope becomes very real. There's this longing for something better and this acknowledgement of the brokenness in this world and in our hearts. Siguro kung maiisip nyo lang kung naglalakad ka doon in the midst of all that devastation in Leyte or in Palo. Siguro maiisip mo, life can't be just this. Life can't be just this. No? There should be something more. We were made for something better and our souls know it. It's really heartbreaking how people, still stories are coming, no? Yung Palo lang, for example, the Palo Cathedral, it's their jubilee year. I think it's their diamond year or something. Na they've been preparing it for it mga 5 years to raise money to rebuild the cathedral. So bago yun lahat, yung bubong, yung mga chandelier. Tapos this week supposed to be was the closing na may ordination, magmimisa si cardinal. Of course, pagdating doon, walang bubong. No, it's walang, no? Uh, but yet, in the midst of that hope, there's something more to this. No? Hope is not mere wishful thinking. No, na I hope, ano ba ko dito? I hope it doesn't rain today. Parang ganun, no? Hope in the theological sense, as the virtue that of faith that we have, is not just wishful thinking. It is based on something real. No? Certainty that God will do what he promised. No? That is what we hope. It is based on that. And he will fulfill every promise that he has made. Hope enables us to persevere when our faith is tested. No? We will experience trials, setbacks, difficulties. That's a given in our life. I hope you're not living your life trying your best to avoid these things because you will fail miserably and you will be miserable because you will fail. God will triumph through it all. That is what hope is, no? And accomplish his purpose for us, no? So the purpose of Advent is to remind us of this. Okay? So, this season also, get in touch. Have you had recent experiences that awakened your hope? That you uh, parang you were in a very difficult situation and yet something has happened that made you realize, hindi, may gagalaw dito ang Diyos. No? Parang in another passage from Isaiah about how the desert will be transformed and there will be crocus that will grow, no, this kind of flower that grows right after the rain. Na parang yung very dry land will suddenly burst into bloom. No, na parang, oh, saan ang galing ito? Biglang nandun. No? And that is what hope is. So, did you have experiences that awakened hope in you? Or, maybe, you can also get in touch with, do you have resistances? Parang, ayokong umasa. Bakit? Kasi masakit pag hindi nangyari. No? Do you have resistances to hope? No? But if you're hoping in the Lord, no, you better question that resistance. Because what we're saying is, because the hope, our hope in the Lord is based on certainty. The promise of Advent. No? We read here again from Isaiah. The desert and the parched land will exult. No? So this is, ano bang pangako sa atin ng panahon? No? The desert and the parched land will exult. The steppe will rejoice and bloom. They will bloom with abundant flowers and rejoice with joyful song. Also very dramatic image. They will see the glory of the Lord, the splendor of our God. Strengthen the hands that are feeble. Make firm the knees that are weak. Meron na ba dito mga mahihina ang tuhod? No? Say to those whose hearts are frightened, be strong, fear not. Why? Why all of this? Because here is your God. He comes with vindication, with divine recompense. He comes to save you. No? Then will the eyes of the blind be opened, the ears of the deaf be cleared. Then will the lame leap like a stag. Then the tongue of the dumb will sing. Diba? May kanta ito eh. Balang araw. Alam niyo yung kantang yan? No? Those whom the Lord has ransomed will return and enter Zion, singing, crowned with everlasting joy. They will meet with joy and gladness. Sorrow and mourning will flee. No? Ang ganda-ganda nito pag pinasok mo itong imagery na ito. Ito yung pinapangako sa atin ng panahon. That the Lord will come and transformation will occur. Because the promise of Advent is nothing less than God with us. No? The promise of Advent is that he will parang with his power, he will magically erase our sorrow. No, no, not that. His promise is being with us. No? To be with us. No less than that. And everything that will entail. Transformation, healing, renewal, fulfillment, and boundless joy. No? So that is the promise of Advent. Ang pinapangako sa atin, hindi lang regalo, hindi lang ito yung aginaldo na hinihintay natin. No? Kaya nga aginaldo, napaka it's immeasurable the value of this gift. It's God himself. That this is the promise, no? A promise of Advent. And which is why in this season, no? Perhaps also it's good to get in touch. What does that mean for you? When you say God with me or God with us, no? What does that thought evoke in you, no? What will that mean for me if God is with me in my life, no? What does that evoke? The images from Isaiah, from barrenness to bloom, no? May mga blooming ba dito? Mga God with you na yung mga yan, no? No? So, higit pa kay Vicky Bello ang transformation na mararanasan mo, no? God with you. From blindness to sight, no? From whatever infirmity, no? From sorrow to joy. So get in touch with that. Anong pinakapangako sa akin? And it can be different for each of us. No? So this season is also a good season to reflect on that. What does it mean for me? For God with me? How will that transform me? No? How will that affect me? And lastly, no? So the premise is desperate longing. Kailangan pasukin natin 'yon, no? Pasukin natin yung desperate longing. Why? Because only when we get in touch with that desperate longing will we also be ripe for hope. No? Kasi kung wala ka pakialam, why do you need to hope? But if you are in touch with your desperate longing, then you are ripe for hope. And your hope is based on a certainty. No? And the certainty is this promise of God, and He will fulfill it, that He will be with us. No? And so the practice of Advent is then how does the season help us enter into that, no? And the practice of Advent is made real in this twofold character, no, of the season. One is remembering. You know? What do we remember here? We prepare to remember the first Christmas, the first coming of Christ. 'Di ba? Kaya mahalaga yung Belen, mahalaga yung Christmas carol, yung parol. Those are ways of remembering that. Huh? Remembering that it happened. Huh? But it doesn't stop at remembering just what happened in the past. It also means that we're looking forward to something that will happen still, no? And in the very beautiful way that the liturgical norms express it, because of those twofold character, the reason for the season, no, is this, no? It is a period of devout and expectant delight. No? Delight. That's a very beautiful word to describe this season. Delight. Expectant delight. Siguro ang pinaka-touchstone experience natin dito, if you can remember in your childhood, yung nearing Christmas and you know may matatanggap kang regalo na gustong-gusto mo. Perhaps we've all had that experience. I hope. Sana lang meron, no? Kung wala, hindi si Dr. Joff magpaano kayo sa kanya, consult kayo sa kanya. 'Di ba? Yung parang alam mo darating na, no? Gustong-gusto mo. Ayun na, no? So that kind of expectant delight. No? Parang pupunta ka sa Christmas tree, abangan mo, no? Tapos nakita mo malaki. Tapos, 'di ba, ginagano pa, no? Ang laman nito, may gift. That is a little parang a prelude, a glimpse into this expectant delight of the season that we're talking about. Excited ka, no? So it's a season of expectant delight, no? 'Di ba yung word pa lang na yan, parang it already brings a smile to your face. It's an period of expectant delight. So, the practice of Advent, in order to practice Advent, is to practice how do you foster this expectant delight? No? How do you live, no, and wait in the key of joy? No? Parang joy becomes a very felt experience. No? Delight. That's what delight means. Joy. No? Uh, which is very timely because this Pope, no, came out with a document. Now, one of the words described about this papal document is it's stunningly beautiful. How often do you hear a document from the Vatican described as stunningly beautiful, no? Na parang pag nagbabasa ka ng in the past, pag nagbabasa ka ng mga papal exhortations, parang mayaman 'yun pero talagang mahirap pasukin, no? Siguro matalino lang masyado sila, no? But I I in, encourage you read this. No? Read this. The document, the exhortation's title is "The Joy of the Gospel." No. So um, just from this document, no, and just to para pick out something about joy. Sabi niya, there are Christians whose lives seem like Lent without Easter. May mga kilala kayong ganun? Di ba yung tawag natin dyan sa Tagalog, Biyernes Santo, mga mukhang Biyernes Santo, no? Lent without an Easter. Sabi niya, there are Christians who are like that. Na parang tanang buhay nila is one parang Calvary without any resurrection. But the Pope says, I realize, of course, that joy is not expressed the same way at all times in life, especially at moments of great difficulty. No? Like what we're experiencing now, no? Moments of great difficulty. Sabi niya, joy adapts and changes. Depending, especially during times of difficulty. But it always endures. Even as a flicker of light born of our personal certainty that when everything is said and done, we are infinitely loved. No? We are infinitely loved. And that sense of being infinitely loved, even if you're going through death, you will feel joy. The martyrs had that, di ba? Kumakanta pa sila habang papunta sila sa mga leon. Why? Because of that sense of being infinitely loved. No? And sabi niya, that is the source of our joy. That we are infinitely loved. So fostering expectant delight is about that, is about awakening in us that sense of being infinitely loved. That is why he is with us. He's going to be with us because of that infinite love. No? Why else should he want to be God with us? It's because of that, because we are infinitely loved. No? So to foster expectant delight, just some suggestions. No? First is engage in rituals and the traditions of the season. 'Di ba? We will light the Advent candle. No? There's a meaning to that. No? Bakit siya green? Bakit bilog? So enter into that. No? And rituals, traditions. And we don't just mean here the liturgical ones, no? It's the season for reunions, 'di ba? Reunion, exchange gifts even, no? Enter that with the spirit of this, of fostering that expectant delight. You know, that's part of it. That's part of this season of awakening joy. No, do not hesitate to awaken this sense of joy. No, parang as if, naku, nakakayang ngumiti or tumawa kasi, 'di ba? May mga nasinalanta sa bagyo. No, no. All the more reason why we need to find authentic sources of joy. No? Second, do acts of random kindness. No? And nothing like acts of random kindness to awaken precisely this delight, this joyful, this expectant delight. The more random, the better. Di ba ganun yun? Yung mga wala namang dahilan kung bakit pagawang ka ng kabutihan ng isang tao and yet ginawa. Ibang klase yung dating niya. No? There's no reason why I will be generous to this person and yet I am. 'Di ba? Just recently I watched yung waitress na nilibre niya yung dalawang parang service women, mga 'di ba nag-shutdown sa US. Tapos may kumain sa isang restaurant, naka-uniforme na dalawang babae. Tapos sabi nila, mura lang yung order namin kasi wala kaming sweldo. Nilibre ng waitress, no? Sumulat siya, since you're serving the country, protecting yan, I will, ano, no? Yung waitress na yon single mom, ganun. Alam mo na, Facebook kumalat, nakarating kay Ellen DeGeneres. So, ginest niya yung waitress. Tapos binigyan niya ng $10,000. You know? So, parang, it was a very small act. Nobody thought that it would be, you know, but there are many examples of this, no? Parang no logical reason why we will experience something good from this person we do not know, and yet it happens. And nothing like a random act of kindness that will awaken this expectant delight. Diba? And I hope you get to experience that both as recipient as the one and as the one who gives. Another way that you can foster expectant delight is also to declutter, no? To create space. Yung mga magugulong kwarto diyan, no? O magugulong lamesa, no? Declutter and sense how space feels. Parang, ganito pala pag malinis. O ganito pala pag may kulang. Or ganito pala pag may space. Declutter and sense how space feels. No, not just your physical space, but your time. No? In a day, do you have quiet time? No? Declutter and put some quiet time. In your heart, no? What are the things that need to go to lessen the clutter? Okay? And this will hopefully help you enter and foster that sense of expectant delight. No? So, the season, get in touch with what you can do to open yourself to joy, no, and to expectant delight. And recover that spirit of Advent. Okay, and I just like to end with this, no? Para lumalalim na ang gabi. Pero siguro just to sense this very quiet perhaps, but very real invitation from the Lord, no? And we quote here again Pope Francis from that document. Sabi niya, I invite all Christians everywhere at this very moment to a renewed personal encounter with Jesus Christ. No? We need this. Do we encounter Him in this way? No? And sabi niya, in a very moving way, sabi niya, with a tenderness which never disappoints, but is always capable of restoring our joy. He makes it possible for us to lift up our heads and to start anew. No? So, this is the invitation of the season. Once again, and more importantly now than ever, is to allow this encounter with Christ to help us experience this tenderness which never disappoints. No? A tenderness that never disappoints. And this is one particular theme in Francis's parang everything that he says, the tenderness of God, the mercy of God, no? That iconic picture of him kissing that deformed man, no? Ganun. This this mercy which never, this tenderness which never disappoints, but is always capable of restoring our joy. That is the only thing that can restore our joy. And He makes it possible for us to lift up our heads, no? In a very difficult situation, in a struggle, in the darkness, we are able to lift up our heads and start anew. No? So mga kapatid, this Advent season, no, open your heart. Open your heart. Allow the Lord to be with you. Wait for Him. No? So, to experience Him in His tenderness to restore our joy. And also allow yourself to be used by the Lord to restore the joy of others. No? And experience His tenderness restoring our joy. No? And no other is worth waiting for. No? Okie dokes. Sige. Maraming salamat.
Pasalamatan natin ulit si Father Jordan, brothers and sisters. So yun, napakaganda nung ano niya, no, nung talk ni Father Jordan. So it's all about yung some key points lang. It's all about waiting for the Lord, long for the Lord, having expectant joy or delight in our heart while we are waiting. Tapos maganda rin, na-appreciate ko rin, brothers and sisters, yung ano, yung suggestions ni Father while waiting. Yung do random act of kindness, and then meron pang participate tayo sa rituals, and then create space in our heart for us the Lord. Para pag dumating ngayong Panginoon,